Sometimes we don't realize how much pain we're in, how much distress, how much discomfort, until it's gone. It's like hanging around by a freeway. After a little while, you get used to the noise. Then you move further away from the freeway, and you can't sleep because it's too quiet. Since my 14th birthday, I've been dealing with the stress caused by depression and anxiety. You see, shortly after I turned 14, my family decided they were going to move yet again to a different school district. I would have to try out for a new football team. Would I make it? Would I be good enough? Who was my competition? You see, where I was, I had it all scoped out. I had it all figured out. I was comfortably numb in an existence that really worked. A comfort zone, if you will. But since that time, I've been slowly becoming more and more at the effect of my thoughts and feelings and emotions, rather than consciously creating and choosing exactly, mindfully, how I will experience each moment. Today's video, I'm going to share with you what I've learned, teaching others how to do what I was trying to learn how to do myself, and by so doing, conquer my depression and anxiety. I still deal with it every day. But something's changed, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. Hi, I'm T.S. Hall, the Stoic Medium. I'm a spiritualist minister who instructs old souls, empaths, and highly sensitive people in the psychic and healing arts so they can experience directly for themselves whether or not spiritualism, as a philosophy for living, is the right choice, the right path for them for their spiritual journey this lifetime. If you're new here, we produce videos once or so a week, and you're welcome to subscribe so you don't miss any of our lessons to help you see for yourself if spiritualism is right for you. You see, the problem was the more depressed and anxious I was, the more I procrastinated. The more I procrastinated, the more I overthought everything from a perfectionistic, I got to get it exactly right before I do anything, point of view. The more I overthought and procrastinated, the more I wanted to overeat, having uncontrollable urges for big bags of peanut M&Ms and half-gallon containers of ice cream and the Chinese buffet. But when the COVID lockdowns happened, when life as I knew it yet again changed, I had to confront something that I had not seen in many, many years. And it wasn't until I confronted it and realized it and acknowledged it and was able to put my hands on it that I realized that, for the most part, I was not being driven by the stress caused by depression and anxiety. As I further examined what had happened, I realized that a lifetime of teaching spiritualism, teaching the psychic and healing arts, and learning how to practice exactly what I preach had gone to work on me, allowed me to have a gap, ever narrowing, between depression and reality. The process I'm about to share with you is very simple, not complicated at all. Just like mastering anything, it's mastering the basics, the fundamentals, the building blocks, if you will, that allow you to then become very complicated in your execution and ownership of something quite beautiful. The base level of experience that helps you deal with, rewire your brain, consciously choose each thought, that helps you unwire depression and anxiety is meditation. But the meditation we teach and practice is stillness meditation. And stillness meditation is a two-part process. 5 minutes of focused concentration, direct intention, holding in your mind's eye to the exclusion of all other thoughts, a single thought, followed immediately by 5 minutes of silence, no thinking whatsoever. This combination, at first, you're putting all of your attention, all of your focus, you're struggling to hold one thought, pulling your concentration, your focus, your ability to hold and instruct your mind to do one thing rather than anything else. It's kind of like building a muscle, if you will. And you have this struggle. And when you release that struggle after 5 minutes, your mind is ready to relax. And as it relaxes, it drifts down to stillness. As it touches stillness and silence, you open the spiritual eyes of your soul. You open that part of yourself that exists and lives beyond the death of this physical body. You allow yourself to experience the God within. Meditation is the first step. The second step, and this is where we diverge from other spiritualist churches, this is why we are an independent spiritualist church, is we instruct you on how to develop your own personal skill set, your own personal abilities in the psychic and healing arts. But we do this in such a way that allows you to create displayable, on-command skills that are verifiable instantly by yourself. Verifiable instantly in the three-dimensional world in objective reality. By so doing, what we learn is how our mind interacts with boring, simple, basic awareness. You see, many times I've taught students and they have beginner's luck. For the first month or so, man, they are in love with it. They know how to do this stuff. They get the answers right consistently and regularly. But then their mind starts to figure out what's going on, and their mind goes on autopilot. And with their mind on autopilot, their results start to disappear because they're no longer present right here in the moment. It's no longer new. It's starting to get boring. Imagine learning to play a piano and having to play the scales over and over and over and over again. Some people are able to do that to such a high degree they become professional musicians. Others go through the motions. They can do what they are instructed to do, but they lose their passion. They lose their ability to get fully engaged to be a musician. They're more of a technician than an artist. Same thing happens in the psychic and healing arts. A lot of people go through the motions. They say the right words. They worry about looking good, and they worry about their ability to go through the motions. But their mind is off in la-la land, off somewhere else, completely distracted, not fully present here and now, creating the psychic and healing energies required to create miracles. The third aspect, the third step, is allowing yourself to be so present, so focused right here and right now, that we become naturally aware of exactly what we attract. Naturally aware of exactly what we attract and bring towards us. You see, if you're looking for a lover, you're looking for the right job, you're looking for anything in the physical world, it's already there. It exists. It's a variation of when the student's ready, the teacher appears. When you're ready to receive, you're aware of what you've been attracting all along, that's been hidden behind the delusions of your outward senses, your preconceived notions about what you think you want, instead of seeing things with the spiritual eyes of your soul. And that's the third part, is you become responsible for acknowledging and consciously choose what you're attracting. Because what you're attracting is exactly some aspect of you, because the simplest form of attraction, the simplest definition, is like attracts like. You attract to you those like you. And this leads me to the overall theme of this presentation. And that's learning how to love yourself, accept yourself, allow yourself to be who you are without pretense, and thereby attracting exactly what you incarnated this lifetime to bring about. That's the purpose. That's the reason. Learning how to be you. Learning how to do you, boo. And love and accept that person you see in the mirror unconditionally. and without reservation, and without feeling that you have to be anything other than who or what you are. And that's the part that I learned over 30 years of teaching others. I could so easily accept others for being who they were, because I could see in them what lies beneath the delusions of their outward senses. I could see the spiritual part of them. I could accept it. I could look beyond their physical proclivities, their self-hatred, their self-denial, their lack of esteem, their lack of confidence. I could see beyond all that to the beauty that was within them. For a long time, I've said that every person I run across, I find one thing to fall in love with. One thing I can fall in love with for each person who crossed my path. And any time I had a difficult time doing that, it was because that person was too much like me. Too much in the same realm of concerns that I had. Because what I rejected in them is what I had never accepted in myself. Fortunately, I got pretty good at trusting my training. You see, I was pretty good at helping other people get what they want. And it wasn't until I became totally committed to trusting what my gut told me, what my instinct told me, and those impulses which I resisted, that I attracted my wife, Amy. And it was in a moment when I was kind of doing my thing, trying to help her, when I realized there was some part of her I was not accepting. And the moment I realized I was not accepting some part of her, I asked her, should we go out and get coffee? She said yes. We were married a few months later. But it was only by trusting myself to know what I know, which came from years of helping others trust themselves and know what they know, falling to the level of my training, that I was able to slowly take this stranglehold of depression and anxiety and allow it to dissolve. Every meditation, it was like a drop of water dissolving limestone, until slowly this big barrier, these big blocks in my subconscious, these thoughts that are things in my subconscious mind, began to lose their power on me, because I began to allow the wee voice of knowing, the wee voice of intuition, to become more amplified in my awareness than my instinct for survival. And every one of the blocks, every one of the subconscious thoughts, every one of these beliefs, parts of my mindset that did not empower me, were put there for one reason: to keep me from being hurt, to help me survive in the physical realm. They became part of my physical instincts. I see all the time people saying, oh, that's counterintuitive. No, it's very intuitive. It's counterinstinctual. And I really want you to pay attention to what I just said, because that's the key to you unlocking anxiety and depression in your life. Unlocking the stress and anxiety caused by your particular acting out, if you will, your particular manifestation of depression and anxiety in your life. And that's really being able to discern between your intuitive knowing and your instinct to survive. Because there's three basic ways we protect ourselves. We learn to fight, we learn to take flight or run away, or we learn how to freeze. My particular version was freeze, which manifested in perfectionistic overthinking, procrastination, and overeating, because that allowed me to not make any committed action. Because if I took a committed action, I was subject to being not appreciated, subject to being criticized, subject to being punished. So I did nothing for a long, long time. My own self-sabotage. I was my own worst enemy. But the whole while I was teaching others how to meditate. I was teaching others how to trust themselves. I was healing others and giving readings to others. And they were informing me just how well I was helping them heal parts of their physical body, how well I was helping them with making the decisions they needed to make. It was over this time that I saw beyond my own limitations, my own unworthiness, my lack of deserving, to realize that all I needed to do was to ask and trust my intuition, to countermand my instinct for survival, and allow myself to start making my dreams come true. This video is a dream come true. Is it perfect? Hell no. Am I perfect? Hell no. Do I pretend to be? Hell yes. I want everyone to think I'm perfect and, have everything all together. So me declaring to you that every day I struggle with depression and anxiety. I struggle with helping others because I have done so little to help myself, is real for me. But in the face of all the noise, all the turbulence, all the chaos of my own emotions and thinking, there is that place, the eye of the storm, that I'm able to touch into, to dwell in after I do my stillness meditation practice. That place of thinking tranquility, that place of quiet receptivity, where I can connect deeply with my own spirit self, my own intuitive knowing, where I can connect with my spirit guides and teachers, where I know the future before it happens, where I can test and develop my abilities to on command display what I'm capable of. Now here's the next level for me. My next level is to be able to display it on command in front of others. Because right now in the lab of my own home, it's easy. I don't have to prove it to anyone. But when I get out in public, I get performance anxiety. I worry about doing it wrong. I worry about what people think about me. That's all part of my own personal makeup and my own personal neurosis, if you will. My version of stress and anxiety and depression. But what does this have to do with spiritualism and transformation? The transformation happens through meditation. The transformation comes through practicing the psychic and healing arts until you become masterful at displaying them on command, first for yourself and then to others. The transformation happens as I was reading for others, as I was healing others, as they were getting the results. And as they were so doing, because I was out of the way just trying to help them, not trying to prove that my worth, that I slowly accepted that I am worthwhile. I deserve all the best. I am capable as a medium and a psychic and a healer. I stacked up enough evidence to convince me that my neurosis was uncalled for, unjustified. And I've slowly begun to get a fine balance between getting things done, thoughtful consideration, and allowing myself to win, allowing myself to be remunerated for my gifts and my skills, allowing myself to be fully loved and accepted by my wife and those around me. Most importantly, I've learned how loving myself, accepting myself, is the greatest gift of all, and would not have been possible if I had not seen for myself how the psychic and healing arts allowed me to step into spiritualism. But not spiritualism, the religion with the songs and the Bible and the Christianity, but spiritualism is a philosophy for life, a philosophy for living life fully. A philosophy that recognizes all truths as they come across them, but more importantly, a philosophy based on expertise, a philosophy based on our skills and our abilities to do psychic and spiritual things. Well, that's it. That's the transformation. Does it make sense for you? I don't know. Here's the part for you to really get present to. Is what I'm saying ringing true? Does this feel right? If it does ring true, if it does feel right, then maybe you found a place to learn. If not, you've long left this video. So if you're still here, wondering what the heck I'm going to say next, somehow strangely drawn to whatever is going on here, then I would assert that regardless of how counterinstinctual it may feel, some part of your intuitive knowing is drawn to what I'm saying. And if that's the case, I invite you to get your invite to join us for one of our live Spiritualist church services. You can do that at Spirit360.org. And you can join us for one of our live online Spiritualist church services via Zoom, where we meditate, where we do guided self-healings, where we send healings to those who could not be there with us, and I offer messages from our spirit guides and teachers for your highest and best good. It's a practical, real, experiential church service, not about worship, but around practice and skills development and getting objective, real-world results in our lives so that we can live life more abundantly, more fully. The last thing for me to share is, if you are still here, if this is ringing true, if it does somehow make sense, even though you don't quite know how or why it makes sense, give us a like. List in the comments below what is the most interesting thing you heard, or what's your variation of depression and anxiety. How does it manifest in your life? You can subscribe to the channel. You can share this with someone who you know who maybe benefit from it. And with that, having said that, my honest, sincere wish for you is that you find the peace and happiness and acceptance in yourself that your spirit guides and teachers share with you every day, because they choose to be around you, because they love you, they know who you are, why you're here, and then where you're going, and they are doing their best to help you learn the same things so you can find happiness and start thriving in this life, fulfilling your dreams. Because after all, that's why we're here, is to find happiness, find our path, get really clear about who we are, where we're going, and why we're here. And by so doing, learn to give and receive some love, enjoy good food, good friends, and allow yourself to give and receive love freely. That's what it's all about. Are there rules involved? A couple, but nothing as elaborate as most religions. Basically, it's be a good person. Walk the middle path, be moderate. That's about it. And as we wrap up, again, join us at one of our online Spiritualist church services. You can get your invite at Spirit360.org. Allow yourself to step into what I've said, especially if it rings true. And I bless you and leave you with who you are, why you're here, and where you're going, knowing that you indeed are on your path this lifetime to bring about what you incarnated to bring about. And until we connect next time, I remind you that spiritual is as spiritual does.